Lesson 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. My rich dad just played the game smart, and he did it through corporations, the biggest secret of the rich. A brief history of taxes. Every time people try to punish the rich don't simply comply, they react. They have the money, power, and intent to change things. They don't just sit there and voluntarily pay more taxes. You may have heard the saying, nothing is certain except death and taxes. But for most of human history, taxes were not a certainty at all and look much different to the way people are taxed today. Occasionally, kings, queens, and presidents would collect taxes in an effort to support wars, but there were no permanent taxes levied against people on their income. Even in times of war, the highest tax rate in the Roman Empire was only around 3%. Originally in England and in the USA, there were no taxes. Only in 1874, income tax became permanent in England. And 39 years later, the US followed suit with the adoption of the 16th Amendment that made income tax permanent. These permanent taxes were passed into law under the guise that they were only to be levied against the rich. This decision would end up backfiring and punishing the people who voted for it, the poor and the middle class. Government bureaucracy versus capitalism. As the government grows, more and more tax dollars are needed to support it. Rich Dad saw Poor Dad as a government bureaucrat and himself as a capitalist. Both are driven by opposite incentive structures. Put yourself in the shoes of a politician or government employee. Your incentive is to spend money and hire people. The larger your department or organization becomes, the more entrenched and respected it becomes. You're incentivized to spend every dollar of the budget you can, because if you don't, you risk losing it in your next budget. If you're a politician running for government, you aren't campaigning on your ability to cut expenses or balance the budget. You are campaigning on all the things that you will build, create, or give to your constituents. And at the end of the day, you aren't spending the money from your own bank account. You're spending the population's tax dollars. Now put yourself in the shoes of Rich Dad, a business owner. Your incentive is to spend less and only hire when needed. And at the end of the day, you may deploy your capital in a more efficient manner because it is your money. My rich dad did not see Robin Hood as a hero. He called Robin Hood a crook. This economic theory of taking from the rich and giving to the poor and middle class only lasted until the government's need for more money to sustain itself led to the taxes needing to be levied on the middle class and the poor. At this point, the rich found a new way to protect their assets. The biggest secret of the rich. The rich found a way to escape and seek the protection of a corporation. For most people, when they hear the word corporation, they may imagine something tangible like a large building with hundreds of employees. In reality, a corporation is just a piece of paper that creates a legal body. The rich protect their wealth through corporations because it gives them tax advantages over the poor and the middle class. Corporate tax rates are lower than personal income rates, and it also protects them from lawsuits. But how? It comes down to the flow of income. Take a close look at the order. An employee earns money, pays taxes, and then spends. A business owner earns money, spends, and then pays taxes. The corporation can do many things that an employee cannot, such as paying expenses before taxes. The business owner's income flows through the corporation and pays him or her a salary as an expense. If you pay yourself a small enough salary, you can also avoid the higher tax brackets that higher earning employees need to pay. The pre-tax dollars here are where the rich find ways to minimize their tax burden as much as possible through deductions and other legal loopholes.